afternoon, and welcome to the latest episode of our Franchise Readiness Series, where we help people considering the path of business ownership understand the options and opportunities available and how franchising could be the choice that works for them. I am your host, Marla Moak, president of Molly Maid, a neighborly company. I have over 20 years of executive leadership experience with expertise in operations, process improvement, and franchise experience in the home service category. We're here today in celebration of Women's History Month, and I'm joined by three of Neighborly's female franchise business owners. Each of these inspiring women have led incredible initiatives and achieved remarkable success, earning recognition for their contributions to their business, brand, and industry. They bring a wealth of experience, expertise, and passion for empowering women in business. I'd like to introduce Cindy Parks Talley. Cindy, can you tell us a little bit about your background, what drew you to franchising, along with why you chose Mr. Handyman?
Well, thank you so much for the honor to be here today. I really appreciate that. It's a very big honor to be at this table. I went to the University of Oklahoma and got my degree and went into the corporate world, and I spent 2 decades in the corporate world. I always knew that I wanted my own business, and my father-in-law was from franchising. And he educated me on how the business model already exists and the support that you can get from the network and the other franchisees, and encouraged me to look at that path. I looked at probably 70 different franchises, and I'd originally looked at a Molly Maid. But that territory that I was looking at had been purchased while I was doing my search, and the president of Mr. Handyman called and said, would you consider a Mr. Handyman? And I was so enchanted by the culture and the camaraderie of the neighborly people and the Mr. Handyman people. And every single franchise that I looked at, I compared to that group. And I was like, I have to go with this group. That's how I got to Mr. Handyman.
Well, thank you, Cindy. We also have Sarah Boyce.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Happy to be here this morning. It's an honor to be with you all, and it's an honor to be a part of Neighborly and AirServe. It's been a really incredible journey for our business to get to where we are today. I went to school for accounting and finance, University of Maryland, and came and joined the business as my dad had a transplant and was out of the business for a while. So I got really involved in what it meant to run an AirServe. And I think what drew us to Neighborly, and it was Dwyer at the time, was the core values and what the code of values and what that means to the brands and how we all operate with them. So that was a huge part of why we chose the business.
Thank you, Sarah. And lastly, we have Holly Fuller. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here as well. We are newer to the game. We're about 1.5 years into working with Five Star Painting, but it has been the most incredible experience of my life so far. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Went to school at St. John's University in New York City, studied media and marketing. Then moved to LA, lived there for about 8 years, and also had a great experience there as well, and decided to come back to Georgia and open up a Five Star in Athens, Georgia, which is about an hour outside of Atlanta. And the reason we got into franchising was once I did graduate from college, wanted to be my own boss, had done a lot of internships in the media department and loved it, but was like, okay, I think I want to do something a little different. What can I find to be able to express myself and to make people happy and to find my voice? And worked with a franchise consultant, took a master class on franchising, learned about it, the business side, the legal side, and with that information, learned more about Neighborly specifically, and then Five Star. And we just knew it was such a good fit for what we needed at the time and who we were.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. I'm always eager to meet female business owners and learn more about their franchising journeys. So let's get started. Franchising has evolved over the years. What innovative approaches or trends do you see emerging in the franchising industry? And how can women take advantage of these opportunities?
Awesome. Well, we've seen, I think, in the media as far as being a millennial, being so encapsulated in social media, newspapers. I mean, you name it, we've kind of seen run the gamut, and we've seen a lot of women, I feel like, business owners in the space. So that has been very encouraging to see women running their own businesses, and specifically in franchising. I think the marketing is there, and things like this help get the word out and give us confidence to enter the space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cindy, Sarah?
I think the AI that is coming out, the artificial intelligence that's coming out, is really exciting and interesting and innovative. And I think that everyone has a lot of opportunity in that area. It's endless and limited only by your imagination.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Franchising, like any industry, comes with its unique challenges. Can you share a significant challenge you faced and how you've overcome it?
I think that there's a lot of challenges with the constant changes to the digital space with Google, and a lot of the ways that we are getting our customers. All of us share that, and learning to adapt very quickly, staying on top of all those changes has become really important. I think the franchises that are successful today are the ones that are, capturing all of that and making the changes necessary. So I think that that's a challenge that can be overcome pretty easily, but franchising, I think, really helps that because we're able to share with each other what's working and what's not, and make changes with that. So.
Absolutely. I'd say a challenge for us specifically was we had the 5-star name, of course, but no one in our territory had owned a 5-star before. So we were, in a sense, kind of starting from scratch and letting people know who we were, who is 5-star, who's Neighborly. When we sit down with customers, we have a one-sheeter with all the brands, and they're like, oh my goodness, so someone who can, come in and fix, you have a Mr. Handyman who can fix something, and AirServe who can fix my heater, and they're so happy because we offer so many things to them. So that's been a blessing to be able to come into their homes and provide those services. But being able to start from scratch, I think we use that as fuel because we were shaking hands, we were going to networking events, that propelled us forward. And of course, alone the model will take you to the next level.
That's right. It's the power of the network, right? And it's the power of being able to leverage other Neighborly franchise business owners in the market that do have that foundational customer base already set. Have you found that the franchise business owners in your market willingly have said, embraced you, hey, welcome aboard, let us help you out?
Absolutely. Molly Maid, Cynthia Williams has been incredible support for us, as well as Rainbow Restoration with Jim and Stacy Casey. They took us under their wing immediately, said, these are the networking groups you should join and be a part of. The pros and the cons, of course, of, every market is different. So you have to find what works for your specific market, and having those brands already in the market 10 plus years, they were both in the market. I mean, they're just veterans in the game, and really led the way for us.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
My greatest challenge in 2016, my husband passed away, and my husband was the face of the franchise. And I was terrified, just absolutely terrified to run the business without him. And the president of Mr. Handyman came to me, and he said, if you want to sell your franchise, we will help you, and we will make that the best experience that it can be. But he said, we want you to know that we believe in you, and we think you can do this. And if you will let us, we would like to help you and support you in that. In addition, I had franchisees who flew in and helped me train my staff because I lost all my technicians. And I had people who called me every day to check on me and encourage me. I just am so very touched by that experience. As hard as it was losing him, it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life to feel that love and support come back from the franchise.
Yeah.
Cindy, thanks for sharing, because that is so powerful. And through this experience, how have you seen that you've transformed both personally and professionally?
Oh, wow. I definitely have transformed. I've developed relationships with people that are deep and meaningful relationships that have supported me and mentored me, and I've learned a lot. I've definitely learned a lot about leadership during this time.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Very powerful, right? Very powerful. What insights can you share on being an effective leader in historically male-centric service industries?
I think really learning what your team wants, men or women on your team, understanding men want respect just like women want respect. They want time with their family. They want good benefits. Understanding those things and prioritizing them, making them feel heard, all of those things level the playing field with them. It's not about whether we're men or women. It's really about how we respect each other. And our team does that really well. And I think that it's because we listen to them and we know what they want. So that's the biggest way I think a woman can overcome that barrier is just, we give them what they seek. And I think that whether it's a man or a woman that you're coaching or as a leader you're helping, you just have to hear them and really focus on using your ears and not your mouth. So,
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Cindy?
I don't feel like it is a male-centric industry. I
Okay.
know it's called Mr. Handyman,
Yeah.
but we have women in our franchises and in our offices and in our customer base, and I feel like it's just a normal industry like banking or whatever. It's just I just don't feel like it's a male-centric industry. It's people. It's just people.
yeah.
Okay.
I think my biggest one is to be confident. Be confident in your ability as a woman. I think that takes you a long way. I did not grow up the most confident girl in the room, especially middle school. I think that's tough for,
Sure,
for
right.
adolescents to get through. But building that confidence daily has helped me when I walk into the room and a customer says, okay, you're going to take my measurements? And I say, yes, I'm here. I'm the owner of 5 Star Painting. I think that shocks them in a sense, because they don't expect that. But then when they come in and they see how professional we are, that I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about different types of paints and things of that nature and different substrates, you name it. I think that impresses them even more. And I had a customer the other day, he just kept saying, you're so professional, you're so professional. I said, absolutely, that's our brand. That's what 5 Star Neighborly stands for.
Thank you for sharing. So balancing work and personal life is a challenge many professionals face. How do you manage to strike a balance? And what strategies have helped you maintain your well-being while building a successful home service franchise?
I have hired a general manager, and she takes on a lot of the day-to-day for me so that I can focus more on guiding and leading my business. I think that is a big player for me. Another thing is that Monday through Thursday at lunchtime, I go with my daughter to the gym and we hit the weights, and I step away from the office and I'm in the moment, and I'm with her, and I've got all my energy coming out in at the machines and on the weights, and so I would say those are big players for me.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think balance is something that has kind of evolved. When you're young in your career, you don't have kids yet, you're able to give a lot of time, a lot of energy. And when your kids get older, you have a lot more time potentially. And then there's different phases in life where you have to focus more on family and more on the business. I recently got married in July, and I've spent a lot more time with my husband than I did at work before. So I took a lot more trips, and we've been just, spending time away. And, you put people in place and you give them the authority and they lead, and it's an amazing thing. So I think the systems that we have in place are what allows us to do that. And it's really, in franchising, it's a lot easier because a lot of the systems are there. And if they have a question, they can even call another person that does that role in another franchise for advice or help. So I think that it's a little easier to strike a balance. But I mean, there's times where in any business you're working a lot. And,
So Sarah, I want to go a little bit deeper, right? You said
Yes.
you recently were married, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And so previous to that, right, complete workaholic. How has
Yes.
the balance, right, the work-life balance and, spending time away from work, how has that made you a better leader?
You have to be a lot more trusting of your people, and it really is something that I had a hard time with. I always say, like, trust but verify, but I still do. But I think that I've allowed my top. We have a general manager as well. I've allowed him to move into that role and take on a lot more, and he's done an amazing job. But when you set clear goals and expectations for your team, my team knows what they need to do every month and every week and every day. It's a lot easier to let go. Then it's not a guessing game what they need to do. So I've gotten a lot more strategic about setting expectations if I'm going to leave, rather than just leaving. So that's been a huge part of it. I've moved to like a daily goal for the team in every role, so they know what their expectations are. So.
Absolutely. Piggybacking off of what these ladies have said, not being afraid to ask for help. I think as women, we are superwomen. I look at so many women as, gosh, my heroes. But we can't do it all. You have to be able to, as you all have said, trust your team. The franchise has various roles laid out as far as training to help you train those new members of your team. So that's very critical, and being able to take care of that. And then also, when you do have your schedule, putting in that time, and saying, I'm going to stop at this time and focus on myself or spend time with my daughter and my family. I'm newly married as well. We're both newlyweds as well. So spending time with your husband and things of that nature is still very important. But knowing from this time to this time, this is our work hours. This is when we're going to focus and take care of business.
Yeah.
It's difficult, right? We can't be who we need to be or who we want to be to others if we're not taking care of ourselves first. And that's not a selfish thing to do, right? It's a very intentional, positive, healthy thing to do, so we can be the leader that we want to be and reach our potential as leaders, right?
Absolutely.
The importance of mentorship is often emphasized in various fields. Have any of you benefited from mentorship or support networks in your franchising journey? And how have these relationships impacted your success?
I would say mentorship is the key to life. I think this is a relation-based business. It runs off of relationships. Those reoccurring customers, those are all relationships you've built with your customers. We have a very intimate job. We're in people's homes. We also do, of course, commercial as well, but majority of the time we're in folks' homes. And it may be a dire crisis. It may be, it's different levels of the brands and services that we provide. Painting, we're more on the enhancement side. So we're dealing with folks who, want to transform their home. And that's really, really fun to see as well. But having those mentors is really the key to being able to drive that success a lot quicker. I think knowing what to do and what to not to do. So Neighborly and all the brands that we have, we support each other. As you mentioned, they were there for you, and that's just so touching. And that's really how it is. We're not just up here making up stories. This is real life. This is an amazing brand to be a part of. Absolutely.
Yes, Cindy, you touched on that before, right? And truly the support system after the passing of your husband. What are those mentorship relationships that really stand out to you as you're in business, really kind of by yourself now?
gosh, there Rob Carpenter and David
Yes.
Scott, those two fellas, and Penny Ellison and Joe McCabe. I just adore all of them. And I know you were talking about being able to ask for help. I know that I can ask them, how do you think I should handle this? Or what do you think we should do with this? And I trust them with my life. They will answer any question, and they're always there for me. I also get a lot out of, I've gotten to a point where I mentor a lot of people. One of the things that I do now is with my general manager, she and I will both read a leadership book. We have our own little book club, and then we get together and we go over what we learned from the book and how we can relate it to what we do every day. And I learn as much as I hope I give in the mentorship relationship.
Yeah, when my dad went through his transplant and he was out of the business, I made a lot of I really prioritized networking because I wanted to meet people and get out. And so I joined a BNI group that's now over 50 members. They're a huge source of referrals for me and mentorship. A lot of the owners in there, I mean, they own businesses just like I do. They're not necessarily, some of the Neighborly brands are in there, but I've gotten a lot out of that. I think that when you look at your network, you can really see what your net worth is going to be. I mean, if it's strong and you have a lot of great relationships, people want to help other people. And when you ask for help, they really come through. So I think that I'm sure just like you losing your husband, I could share a lot of stories of people just like being absolute resources for me and learning a lot from them. So I try and meet as many people as I can. I'm not necessarily the most outgoing person naturally, but I feel like through realizing how important networking is, I've had to develop that. And in business, you do have to develop that. You cannot be afraid of meeting people and talking to them. So, and then inside of, AirServe, I'll call Lee Downing at 6 a.m. and it's 5 a.m. for him probably. And he'll talk to me for 40 minutes while he's driving into work or something and stuff like that. Just having that, it's very rare in the HVAC industry to have other HVAC company owners willing to share all of what they know and all of what they are doing and their financials with you and all, that you don't find that. People might talk to you that own an HVAC company, but they're not going to just spill it like another franchise owner will to help support. So I think that is something that is often overlooked as like one of the huge benefits of franchising. So,
I'm sitting here and I'm smiling because as each and every one of you guys are highlighting pivotal leaders within each of your brands, these are names that are familiar, to everyone across Neighborly because of the influence that they have. And it really speaks to the network and the power of the brand. So I'm sitting here and, all these names that you're sharing with me, I'm like, yes, they're powerful leaders and obviously servant leaders in everything that they do. How can the franchising industry promote diversity and inclusion? And what role do women play in fostering a more inclusive environment with franchise businesses?
I think participation.
Okay.
Participate in every single thing that you can if you want to. You've got to have a voice. You've got to use your voice and you've got to be a part of the process. And that's how you get more participation.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We do a lot of home shows and trade shows and things of that nature to meet various customers and leads. And them seeing women owners, I think, is, very powerful in itself, especially when it comes to diversity and things of that nature, meeting people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a college fair, things of that nature, where you'll have a diverse group of college students being able to be present, being on those panels, just like this, things of that nature will help promote that and let other women know like this is possible and you have the confidence to take that leap forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think just working hard at being the best that we can all be is very powerful. I think that in a lot of the trades, there are not a lot of people just focused on making their company and the experience excellent. They just do what they're great technician, they've done great handyman work, and so they get referrals. But I think taking it to that next level and really being a mentor to other women and I try and with some of like my interns that I bring in, and I try and help give them the confidence that they need to go out and do great things. So I think really it's just, keep on focusing on what we can do every day to make women, look better in the industry and look good. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And Holly, you mentioned job fairs, right? So
Yes.
let's shift gears just a tad. What strategies or resources do you recommend for aspiring female entrepreneurs who are considering business ownership as a career path?
Absolutely. Do your research.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking into franchising, it's a mother-daughter business, so I'm also representing my mother as well at this table. We every day had a checklist of items that we wanted to learn about franchising. We were doing our research and checked them off little by little. Take it one step at a time. There are still things that we're learning about the franchise space, about the business space in general, how to run a business, how to be self-sufficient, things of that nature. So Rome wasn't built in a day. Our franchises weren't built in a day. It takes years and years. So be able to do that research and take it one step at a time to be very knowledgeable about the space.
Yeah. I think it's really important to know your why. And I think that that's always been really clear to me. I wanted to be an influence to the employees, to be a light in the community, to run an ethical business that, bettered lives. And we're engaged in a lot of nonprofit work and giving back to the community. And that's something that I really value and enjoy. But if your why is just you don't want to work for somebody because you don't like being managed, it's probably going to be hard. So I think you have to dig a little deeper and know what your story is, because when you're presenting a vision to future employees, you have to have a vision that they want to be a part of. And I think that our employees buy into our vision for what we want to do and how we want to operate in the community and how we want to, grow them and challenge them. So just really understanding that is key if you're going to start your own business. You don't want to try and figure that out a couple years in. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that the why is a wonderful answer to that question. In conjunction with that, I would say ask yourself, what are your goals in life? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? My father-in-law was like, you don't want to go into food because you really like being at home in the evenings and on the weekends and on the holidays, and look at the lifestyle that you want to have and what kind of franchise fits that lifestyle and fits your personal goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Cindy and Sarah, you've recently been recognized with Neighborly's highest Franchise Owner Award, Franchisee of the Year. This is presented by each brand president to a franchise owner who exhibited exceptional growth, leadership, customer service, and sales. So, congratulations. What's been your keys to success as a recipient of this prestigious accomplishment?
I have followed the model that I purchased, and I participate in every single thing that I can, every phone call, every webinar, every convention. I try to participate in all of it. And I ask for help when I need it. And I do think that is so important. People sometimes are afraid to ask for help. And you're spot on with that. That is a crucial thing.
I think it's very similar to her. We are focused on the systems and developing them. We are engaged, involved in everything we can be. I think some owners are like, I don't get the email, or that's a you problem. If you don't get your emails, that you're not seeing the announcements, you aren't prioritizing knowing what is going on in the business. So I find that you can make a lot of excuses. I like to say that, problems are don't bring me a problem, like let's bring me a solution. And I think that in our business, we look to solve everything that we can all of the time. And I don't look at problems as a negative. I look at them as a challenge. And without problems, we don't have jobs. So I think that, in dispatch, they're always complaining, we're overbooked, we're understaffed. I'm sure you deal with the same thing. And that is a tension that you're here to manage. If we didn't have to have a dispatcher to fix those problems, you wouldn't have a job. So just always looking at the problems in your business, making them better, making, that little step, and then setting goals is not a New Year's activity. It is a daily, monthly, weekly thing that we are looking at. And I know exactly what my company did yesterday and how short they were of their goal on Tuesday. And I think that if you know those things, you will be successful. And the culture of the business, if you do not focus on building a culture where your employees want to be there and they're happy, you will never succeed. So we just focus on our people. We do a lot with them, and we're always feeding the installers breakfast or taking the techs out for lunch or whatever it is. It's so important, and you cannot neglect the culture of the business, because it will either, we've had to completely flip a team back in 2016, and it was due to the culture. So I think that, we're at a point now where everyone's bought in, and that goes a long way. So.
Well, I want to say thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate you sharing your stories and insight on how Neighborly can help aspiring business owners. A few questions have come up as you've been speaking. Do you have time to answer a few of those questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. What advice would you share with someone looking to get into franchise business ownership?
That's a great question. It's funny you asked. I had one of my good friends who just purchased a 5-star in her territory in Tennessee, and we talk daily, and I'm always giving her advice on different things that she can look into. But as I mentioned, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time. Really just focus on your customer, put them first. As you mentioned, be a problem solver. There are times where you're going to have to put out multiple fires in a day, manage a team at the same time, take care of yourself, take care of children, husbands, but taking things one step at a time, managing those tasks, and knowing that you can do it. And it won't all be done in one day, but you can do it is a huge part of getting it done, I think.
Yeah, I think that you have to, when you're looking at a franchise to purchase, you have to be able to do that financially. You have to have the right resources. You have to look honestly at what assets you have and what you can bring to the table, what team you have. If you're a great HVAC technician and you're looking to purchase an AirServe, you need to have someone that can run, we were talking about this earlier, you have to have someone that can run the business side of it. And you have to be humble about what you're missing in what it's going to take to run the business, and not try and do it all. That's something, my dad's a phenomenal service professional, technician, 30 years. He needed business help and business acumen. So knowing what you need to be successful, looking and doing your research is huge. And then, the financial side, which franchise development's incredible at helping flesh that out. So I think that they know what it takes to start a business and run it. So.
Mm-hmm. I also would recommend the services from the SBA. SCORE was very helpful for me. Gave me guidance on my business plan and my pro formas and what numbers that the banks would be looking for, and recommended a bank to me that I use to this day.
Yeah, SCORE is amazing.
Yes.
So, what are some tips that you would give women looking to become business leaders, and maybe even particularly younger women?
I would say start networking early, start networking one of the things I talk to potential franchisees fairly often, and one of the pieces of advice that I give them is to seek out the owners of HVAC companies in the area, seek out and talk to them, because AirServe does bring a tremendous amount to the table, but you just don't know where that can lead. We are friends with many of the HVAC company owners in our area. We lean on them. They helped get us going. One of them helped us with licensing. So I think that don't be afraid to really seek out and network with people in the space that you want to get into, because whether you do it now or do it, you're going to need to do it eventually. So I think that getting that done early is really key.
Exactly. I think taking self-assessment courses helps and tests. I took maybe about 3 or 4 before picking a specific franchise to work with, and that helped me learn my strengths, my weaknesses. What are you good at? What do you like? As you mentioned, Cindy, your father-in-law said you like to be at home. So do I. I do value that work-life balance, but I do like to be mainly at home, but also in the streets as well, getting to know people, networking, things of that nature. That will really help you to build that foundation and what will work for you, and to develop those skills. We have a franchise business coach. We have weekly calls with her. Shouts out to Tammy. She's amazing. I could text her and ask her questions, things of that nature. So having that foundation and having that support system with franchising is really critical. So I recommend franchising, starting a business, especially if you haven't had a business before. Having that foundation, that model, that support, but still a great level of independence, I think is a balance that is priceless.
Yeah.
I would say don't limit yourself. I think that, for example, the industries we are in are all considered traditionally male-centric industries, and we're here. Women are here. You aren't alone. Explore other things. There these other home services and things like that. We have a place in these industries.
Yeah. Definitely.
So in the spirit of celebration, let's talk about recent wins that you've had within your business.
The franchisee of the year was
Yes.
a very, very exciting experience, and I'm deeply touched and honored about that. And I've seen my daughter has recently gotten an associate's degree and is moving up in her education in her career, and it's so exciting to see her growing in this network and a legacy. I love to see the legacies coming along. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It's
right?
very
powerful.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Similarly, we won Franchisee of the Year, and we were able to win it back-to-back, which was really exciting for the team. They are grateful for being able to win it a second time, and we're really looking forward to hopefully winning it a third time. And then we were able to, in December, give back to a family in need and install a furnace for them. And we've been able to do that, every holiday season, which is really cool for them.
A recent win for our team was during the Thanksgiving holiday. We were able to win an award for bidding on a local community center, painting the exterior of the community center that had not been painted since 2001. So you can only imagine how that looked. A beautiful building. It just needed to be enhanced, which is what we do. So we went in and painted it, and it just brought a lot of just hope to the community. It is a lower income area. So we've been told by the staff since painting it that a lot of the residents have come in and had a newfound appreciation for the place and look forward to going. And so, again, going to that community involvement is very, very special to us, and being able to see those results and looks on people's faces when they walk up to the building and see that it looks totally different is great for our team. So that was definitely a win for us in the community.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. This has been a fun celebration and great opportunity to shine a light on a few of our inspiring female owners. So very powerful sitting around this table with you guys today. And thanks again for tuning in. A Neighborly Franchise provides an environment for female entrepreneurs to connect, share, learn, and grow with your peers in business. When it comes to business ownership, we know there are many opportunities out there to consider. We hope that you can see the kinds of thought leaders and resources you have access to when you work with Neighborly. When the time comes and you're ready to make franchise business ownership your next move, you can visit our website at franchise.neighborly.com, or you can reach out to us directly for more information about Neighborly and one of its 19 North America brands. We're always in search of talented leaders looking for the path into franchise business ownership and can help guide you on your journey or get you in touch with one of our experienced franchise developers. We've also provided a QR code, which you can see on the screen now. This will take you directly to the Neighborly franchising site, where we continue to provide insights into why you would consider opportunities within the Neighborly system. Before you go, there are a few other reminders I have for you. A replay of this webinar will be available on our website, so you can rewatch as many times as you would like. We'll also provide the replay link via email for you to review or share with someone else. Be sure to check your email for information and to register for our next webinar. Thank you all for watching. We look forward to seeing you for our next webinar.